Welcome back to the channel. I've spent my entire week with this 2025 Volkswagen Atlas Peak Edition. Now, this wouldn't be the first time we featured the Volkswagen Atlas on the channel. Last time it was the full comfort line, the top of the range Atlas that you could get. This time we're going somewhere in the middle, but also trying, the oriented off-road version. I think it's really, really cool. So when you think Peak Edition, think Hyundai's XRT and different things like that. It's more off-road, it's more meant for the trail and maybe a little bit of snow. Maybe not as much snow as is behind the vehicle right now, but definitely a little bit, and I've got to test it in some cool conditions as well. So of course, I'm gonna show you the interior, the exterior, and of course, a POV drive. Let's get right into it. All right, so starting up first with the Volkswagen Atlas, you can see the car is full of snow. It got blasted. I mean, look at the size of those, snow mountains right there. That's actual snowfall, and most of that is in the past 24 to 48 hours. Ridiculous. So we're left with a dirty Volkswagen, but I will include some B-roll where it's kind of cleaner and a little bit less snowy. But still, I think this Peak Edition looks really, really nice in this trim. So we've got the front end. I like it. It looks really cool. I kind of like the light bar, how the Volkswagen logo will light up as well. I don't actually hate the color here. It takes a little getting used to, but again, it's a color that doesn't look too bad dirty. So that looks, pretty good at all times, especially if you're in crap conditions such as I am. You're going to want something like that. But really, it's hard to notice any changes really from last year's Volkswagen Atlas. Even in the comfort line, the Peak Edition really doesn't change too much. You're going to maybe a bit more black accents instead of the chrome and stuff like that. But that's pretty much it. There's no skid plate. There's no really off-roady utility stuff here. So that's one of the things that you're going to notice around the vehicle. It has the Peak Edition. It maybe looks a little bit off-roady, but there's no actual utility off-roading, if that makes sense. So let's check out next under the hood. We have a 2-liter turbocharged TSI inline-4 engine giving us 269 horsepower, 273 pound-feet of torque with an 8-speed automatic transmission. And of course, we've got the 4Motion all-wheel drive, which in the snow, you'll see later, has been pretty decent. And the towing capacity remains the same as any other Atlas trim at 5,000 pounds. That's one of the things I was talking about. It would have been cool to see them increase the towing capacity for their kind of off-road camping version of the Atlas, but unfortunately, it's the same as all the other ones at 5,000 pounds. But next we move to the side where the sun is, and you get a really good shot of kind of like the painted black fenders. Also, we got the painted black rims, something nice with the Peak Edition. We also do have the Peak Edition badge. You can see it's like, the two mountains kind of meant for your, your trails and your mountain diving and stuff like that. I think it's cool. Again, really like the color. Not a lot to point out in terms of differences between, 2024 and 2025, but it's not that bad. I didn't hate it in 2024. Definitely don't hate it here in 2025. Decent side view. Also, we have the intelligent door handles. Of course, we've got integrated turn signals and the LEDs right here for the mirrors. But intelligent door handles, very nice to have. Nice tint for the back window as well. We'll go around to the back quickly here. I like the integrated taillights. Same thing as last year with the Atlas. I have the same complaint as I always will with these. It has a diffuser, but it's all fake, right? It's got the pipes for the exhaust, but if you get closer here, you can see it's more full of snow and there's no exhaust there at all. So yeah, not great. I don't really like that. Just hide them. I don't see the point in having fake exhaust, but look, it is what it is. That's where we're going with this. But I do like the bar. I do like the taillight bar right here. Very cool. I like how it's a nice and big rear windshield, although I wish this wiper was underneath here somehow. Would have gone way better. But let's check out the trunk last but not least, of course. I've got my third row folded down, so we've got a ton of room here. A little bit of storage underneath the floor there where you could use a spare tire as well. You get a good shot of what the third row has. We've got some USB-C ports and some cup holders there, and also your own vents, which is not too bad. But you can see in this configuration, this is the configuration I'd probably keep it in if I was to own it. You have a ton of trunk space, but even with the third row here, it comes to about where this line is right here. So even if I do fold them up, you're still going to have a ton of space here in the trunk if you do need your third row. So that's still very good. But look, if you're going camping, you only need the second row. You have a ton of space in here. You can even sleep in here if you needed to. That's going to do it for my exterior tour with the Volkswagen Atlas Peak Edition. Let's take it on the road. Let's see how it is to drive in changing conditions. I've driven it in everything again this week. I've driven it in snow, in ice, in rain, and in the sun, I guess. And it's just been pretty good. So let's hop in the interior first, and then I'll strap the GoPro to my forehead. Let's do it. All right, first up, as usual, is the rear for the Volkswagen Atlas. Let's take a look. So, as you can see, we have like an interesting kind of door panel. It's like this, fake carbon fiber here. It's nothing crazy, but it does do a nice job at splitting things up, right? Also got the red stitching, and we have privacy screens as well. Very nice. Taking a look at the seats from the outside, does look very, very nice. It's not the captain's chairs or anything, so I do have the full bench. You can see my baby sits right there. But very easy to kind of fold the seats forward. You can see the whole seat kind of comes forward, which exposes the third row. Not a lot of leg room for the third row, but you do get like cup holders and stuff like that back there. So not a terrible place to spend time if you absolutely have to, but it's definitely meant for our smaller humans. Well, let's go ahead and hop in here because it's cold. So once you're seated inside the Atlas, it's a very nice place to spend time. Got a ton of leg room, ton of knee room, stuff like that. Headroom is absolutely no problem. I don't like this headliner, how it's not colored. Like if this is black here, it should be black all the way up. This is just, I don't like it at all in any trim, in any manufacturer. Just make it black. That's it. But besides that, I like the seats, like I said, very nice. We've got this guy that pulls down, so you got cup holders. We also have our own climate control back here, which is very cool. No heated seats or ventilated seats back here, but not a big deal. I do like having our own climate control, though. That's very nice. Now, as for the child seat or my baby seat, it fits very easily. The tie-down points are easy to access. No problem there. You can see I have just enough room between the passenger seat and the child seat as well, so we're doing pretty well there. But yeah, so far she enjoys it. No problem. It's easy to install. This is enough room in this vehicle where I'm not breaking my back to actually install this thing, so that's been a huge plus throughout the week. So yeah, overall, the back seat of the Volkswagen Atlas is, once again, an easy place to spend time. No complaints from me. All right, next up is the front end for the Volkswagen Atlas. Same thing as the back, where you could see a lot of the different stuff going on. I like the trim here as well. We got our trunk button right down there, as well as the standard door controls. Looking at the seat, decent design as well. I like the pattern. I actually like the gray here. It looks pretty cool. It looks kind of rugged with the gray, actually. And it's very nice to touch, very nice to sit in, very comfortable as well. Let's actually sit in here, though. So once you're sat inside, just like the last time I showed you the Atlas, not much has changed. We do have, the new Volkswagen logo right there, as well as physical controls for our steering wheel, which is very nice. I got the heated steering button, and I can also control the gauge cluster right here, and I can have the skip track and stuff there. Left-hand side is going to be cruise control and the volume control. All the way to the left-hand side, we have, our lighting controls, also our max rear defrost and front defrost. It's like not even like a touch. It's a touch button. It's not even haptic. I'm not always a fan of this thing. It's kind of weird. I don't always know, there's a bit of a delay too, when I press stuff. Just seems slow to me. It's not the greatest thing in the world, but we use it. It's fine for the amount of times you actually need to use it. Next, we move over to my digital gauge cluster, where I can change pretty much everything. This is one great thing about Volkswagen that a lot of companies don't necessarily always do. I have a ton of customization options. You can see on the left, the right, I can kind of have almost anything I want at any time, which is very, very cool. And I think more companies should do that. And I can even have stuff in the middle, and then I can change my view if I want to as well. Like say I want something different, I can also change to this view. I've got this one. I've got this super off-roady one, which is cool. And yeah, we got the standard one. Very cool. Not a lot of manufacturers do that. I like the customization here. It's very easy to use as well. It's nice and big. No problem. I don't have a heads-up display, but honestly, that wouldn't make a difference to me here in this class of vehicle. Anyways, then we move over to our digital infotainment display, which has, all the Volkswagen stuff. Nothing really too crazy or complicated. I obviously do not like these buttons down here. They're not even buttons. These controls down here for my dual zone automatic climate control up front. Don't like it. It's not very convenient at all. And I don't even think they light up at night. It's just, Volkswagen could do a lot more to improve this. At nighttime, though, I will say, though, the ambient lighting is very, very good. I think they may have improved it from last year. I don't remember it being that good, but it's been a while since I've actually taken the Atlas, so it could have been. But if I click the vehicle thing here, you can see it'll kind of give you a 360 degree over the vehicle. You can go in the interior. You can kind of change stuff in case you don't know where things are. You can go interior, and then you can kind of change stuff around from there if you want. But it's got your built-in navigation, wireless Apple CarPlay, wireless Android Auto, and then you have these quick access buttons right down here. I've got the climate button, so obviously you can control your climate from there. The modes button, and you can see I have Eco, Comfort, Sport, custom off-road and snow mode, which is pretty cool. And then I also have the parking menu, which is going to bring up my parking cameras. I only have the rear camera, so not too much going on there, but we do have parking sensors, which is nice, so not too much to complain about there. Again, in this class vehicle, it's all right. Then if we move a little bit lower, I do have a wireless charger. I've also got 2 USB-C ports. I've got a little bit of storage here underneath the center console, which is pretty cool. Then we have this gear selector. It's always interesting. It looks like a little key fob, but you know, it just moves up and down, and you can select your gear with it. It works pretty well. It's a little bit weird to get used to it, because instead of like having your whole hand, it's like really you can operate it with like a finger or two. It's interesting. Also, the start-stop button is right there, and the parking button is right there. 2 cup holders, a little bit of storage here, a little bit of storage in there as well with more USB-C ports. Passenger side gets a nice like Peak Edition logo right there when it's lit up at nighttime, which is very cool. Enough room for the passenger. Passenger seat is the same as the driver's seat, although it's not power operated. This one is going to be manual over here, but still not terrible. I don't hate it, and I still think it's going to be plenty comfortable. So that's going to overall do it for my interior tour of the Volkswagen Atlas. Let's go ahead, strap the GoPro to my forehead. Let's go for a drive. All right, welcome back in the Volkswagen Atlas, and welcome to well, there's a crazy snowstorm. So I'm going to tell you now, this is going to be short and sweet because we're doing road safety rather than, you know, absolute camera shots. But I figure this is a cool time to show you how this thing would behave. So the winds are crazy out here. The snow's absolutely, you know, just chucking it down. It's just ridiculous. I've got a snow mode in this thing, so that's what's helping me through. And yeah, just kind of want to give you guys an idea of what it's like to drive generally in the snow like this, number one, because I don't think I have a video like this just yet. And number two, just what the Volkswagen Atlas does in conditions like this and how it feels and everything in between. So, so far so good though. Like so far, this is the worst that I've driven it at all this week. Like these are the worst conditions. I mean, the city obviously can't keep up with the amount of snow that's falling naturally. Honestly, I can't either with my little snowblower at home. So like I said, we're gonna do this kind of short and sweet kind of thing here because visibility is not good and I don't want to end up in a ditch. So let's go this way. It looks a little bit better over here where we have some road patches where we can see actually. But yeah, so visibility isn't too good. Can't really see that much in front of me or ahead of me. So that's why we're not going to be going fast. We're not going to do any sport mode rips. I mean, not that the Volkswagen Atlas is super impressive sporty wise. I think these conditions and this condition right here in this case scenario, this is where the vehicle shines. It's you know, it's 4Motion all-wheel drive is keeping me really safe. Of course, I've got winter tires. Otherwise, there would absolutely be no video on the Atlas for me because I would not drive this week. This is the second storm in like 2 days that we've got hit by, and this one is really raging. This one's pretty bad with the wind. Last one was just a dump, and there was not that much wind. This one, the winds are absolutely insane. Like, I just can't believe how bad the winds are here. It is nuts. I don't really want to go that way. Actually, let's see what it's like. Worst case, we'll sort it out. Because no matter where I go, I can't see. And that's the thing is, that's the biggest issue right now is like, you know, you can't really see what's coming next or, you know, the roads at all. So it's super sketchy all the time. And, you know, this is just kind of in my neighborhood, right? This is kind of like around the area that I live. It's not actually not too far from where I live. And so, like, this is something that I would have to drive in if I was, you know, commuting to work, or like these are the conditions that you're facing here in Quebec if, you know, if you need to commute. Obviously, I don't need to commute, and, you know, that's why I'm trying not to go too crazy. We're not going to do any drifting or anything like that. We're going to go slow, as you can see, you know, just kind of let the snow mode do its job, right? We're not going to do anything crazy, but as we get closer to the water here, it's going to get a lot more dicey, I think. And yeah, but we're going to do a little U-turn there around the bend. And it's, yeah, it's just nuts. This is this is some of the craziest conditions I've driven in a very, very long time. I don't really remember too well the last time I drove through something quite like this. It's actually crazy. Visibility is super low, so that's why you know, us and I'm sure a lot of other people on the road right now are being very crazy, very responsible, hopefully. But you know, look, that's why hopefully you don't mind hearing the absolute blaring of my fans there, because if I don't do that, I can't see. So it's one or the other, right? It's like, you know, sound or visibility. I'm choosing visibility every time. So I'm getting into some snow here. It's quite deep, actually. But the Volkswagen Atlas is handling it very, very well. Here we go through this. Alrighty, and we're good. We're back on some semi-blown out roads. And you can see there's a tractor there. I think trying to keep everything in check naturally. It's absolutely nuts here. Oh boy, to be a snow removal person in this, I'm not sure I'd want to do it. I'm not sure. You just can't see. I mean, that's just what it is. I think going this way is actually a lot worse than coming. I can see even less. Crazy. Wow, wow, wow. Mother Nature is not to be messed with, right? I mean, look at this. The wind's gotten worse since we were here like 2 minutes ago, and the wind's worse. I can't see. I can't see like where the stop sign is or where the street even ends. That is insane. I can see in front of me, which is, you know, the most important thing, but oh my goodness. There's the stop sign now. I can see ya. Oh my God. That's just freaking crazy. That's unbelievable. So yeah, it's one hell of a winter weather, let me tell you that. So I think I'm going to wrap it up here because I'm close enough to home where I think, or near my house, there's extreme blowing snow. You can't see anything. So it's just a quick little tour around with the Volkswagen Atlas. I kind of wanted you to see and experience what it would be like if you drove this thing in a winter storm. I wouldn't recommend it, not because the vehicle's bad, just because other people could be dangerous and you never know, and you can't really see people coming from anywhere. So it's super dangerous out here. And yeah, so we will close it out here for now though. But let me know what you think of the Volkswagen Atlas. Do you like it? Do you hate it? Would you drive one in this weather? Would you drive in this weather at all? I really want to know your thoughts on the vehicle overall. What you've seen it pretty much. You've seen it in the, you know, the calm before the storm, and then now you're seeing it in the storm. Yeah, let me know what you think. I'm extremely curious to hear from you. With that being said, if you want more content like this, make sure you got to subscribe for this. I mean, who else is driving in these crazy conditions just for a video? I don't know too many people. So you got to subscribe just for this video alone. It's pretty crazy. And yeah, let me know what you think overall. And with that being said, I'll see you next week. See you in the next car. Take care.